Hey guys, Tex here. Welcome back to our weekly watch list where we're going to go over the market and just take a look at a few stocks that might be setting up for some possible trades into next week. All right, guys, so we're going to keep it short and sweet this week. Just taking a look at the SPY. We are hovering right up here at all-time high. It certainly looks like we do want to continue higher. However, be aware there is a Fed meeting this week, so that could introduce some volatility into the markets. Again, just looking at this developing monthly candle here, on any bullish move higher, I would still expect to target this 618 on our Fibonacci retracement around 445. Not necessarily saying that will happen this month, but if we do see any bullishness continue into the future, I think that would be our upside target for the SPY here. But overall, again, hovering near all-time high, going to be very key to see what comes out of that Fed meeting this week. Taking a look at your Qs, of course, very tech heavy on this index. It is working its way back to the all-time high. I like this daily bar here that we close. Probably going to see at least a magnet up to that all-time high, and then we'll have to see if there's initial resistance there and we pull back and try to break higher or not. So at this point, I think the Qs do want a magnet to the all-time high. Taking a look at IWM, broke out of the pennant a little bit earlier than what I expected. Did not work out on our iron butterfly trade, but that's okay. We are looking bullish on this breakout here. We have not truly tested the all-time high. We fell just short of it, so perhaps we round back up and finally come back up to the all-time high. But again, it looks good on this bullish breakout of the pennant. Now, a quick run through our sectors. We're going to start out with technology, our heaviest weighted sector in the index. You can see that it is working its way up to the all-time high. Very similar looking chart as the Qs. I would expect that tech continues to make this run up to the all-time high unless the TNX, that is the 10-year yield, sees some type of a rebound. So you can see that this 10-year yield, which would be negative for tech stocks whenever it starts to rise, it has been falling. So that is definitely helping out tech stocks. So I would expect for this run higher to the all-time high to continue in tech stocks, barring any move, reversal move back up for that 10-year yield. Look at your healthcare, really strong move higher here on Thursday, right up into the all-time high, pull back here on Friday. Looking for this continuation move higher on healthcare. Looks good. We are seeing rotation through the sectors. It is creating a little bit of a push-pull in the market, but overall, bullishness definitely still continuing. We have the consumer discretionary sector here still stuck between your moving averages, 50 overhead, 20 below, but the 20 is starting to curl back up. So I think that consumer discretionary might want to go ahead and start breaking back up higher here as that rotation continues. Take a look at communications, closed right up near all-time high, basically consolidating here. Looks good to continue higher for this sector. Financials finally showing some weakness. We broke down below the 20 SMA. We are basically putting in an inside day here where I would expect a continuation move lower. Might want a magnet to the 50-day. It's been a long time since it tested that. It's been all the way back in January of this year before we had any pullback into the 50-day. Look at your monthly chart on financials, very extended. Look at your weekly chart as well. So we might want to see a little bit more of a pullback in financials. So stocks like Goldman Sachs and Citibank, all of those stocks will definitely be impacted by that pullback here in financials. Going to your industrial sector, nice controlled pullback so far below the 20, but are already trying to hold the 50-day. Again, nothing about this looks bearish. We are just consolidating in a slight pullback here, maybe another leg higher after we find support on the 50-day. Consumer staples, long consolidation pattern beginning to develop here and hovering right over your 20-day, but well over your 20 and your 50. So everything looking bullish there as well. Utilities, we talked about this flag here, a possible break over that as a trade idea for a run up to this high here. And then also remembering that utilities is still off of its all-time high. So this definitely looks good. It looks like utilities might want to continue pushing higher. That might be worth a watch into next week if you like to trade the sectors. Real estate, obviously getting pretty extended up here. Might want to start having some type of a pullback. Might maybe just pause and consolidate. But overall, again, yet another sector that remains bullish. Now you have basic materials here. It is a very small weight in the index, so keep that in mind. but it looks like it is trying to, or it has broken out of this pennant in a bearish manner. Perhaps it wants to move down here to the 50-day. Again, not reading too much into this. We're just seeing that rotational sector in play here, creating that push-pull on the market. Energy consolidating up here near highs, probably still wants to continue pushing up towards that 60 level. All right, so moving back over to our weekly watch list this week. All right, looking at Apple here. We did catch a nice move here on Apple on this run up into the 50-day. A little bit disappointing to see that it gave pretty much all of that move back into the close. We are consolidating here in between the 20-day and the 50-day. I'm looking for a move still up inside of this pocket. I think it wants to come up and test this downtrend line. Keep in mind the possible head and shoulders pattern that's developing here and your neckline across the bottom. For any shorts on this stock, we need to be confirming below this neckline. I just don't like any shorts on this because you have the 20-day and the 200-day still sitting below. I'm looking for the break over this pivot high here and that 50-day for a long to trade inside of this pocket on Apple. Amazon, I love this move higher here. We held this higher low. We are pushing up and holding over the 50 retracement. So this is your 50% Fibonacci retracement from this high to this low. I still think that it probably wants to continue higher, maybe targeting that 618 retracement level. That's at 33.91. And then you have a prior pivot high up here at 34.34. So I think Amazon looks good over Friday's high for a move inside of this pocket, maybe as high as 34.34. So we'll be watching that one. Caterpillar finally starting to see a pullback. Take a look at your monthly chart. Obviously, big monthly bar forming so far. Let's look at the weekly bar. Big weekly bar falling down into your 20 MA. So I would expect to see some type of a bounce possibly off of this trend line. And you also have a pivot low down here at 216. So Caterpillar, look for one more leg down into this area. Then maybe we could look at possibly putting on some type of a spread on that particular stock into next week. Facebook, consolidating, pretty much just holding the 20-day, just riding the 20-day up. I think any move over Thursday's high, probably going to move back up here to the all-time high and maybe continue higher from there. 340 would be the magnet level I'd be looking for. Again, still looks bullish, just consolidating, possibly wants to run higher. Overall, I love the look of this stock when we have this clean trend up and it just keeps holding that 20-day. Netflix, in terms of day trading, I just don't see a lot to do with this, but I want to keep emphasizing the point that we are holding this macro trend line here. Should we get any break lower, I think there's a good short to be had down into that 460 level. So that would be the target on any break of that macro trend line. Look for this pocket here to fill on Netflix. NEO, we were looking for a break higher over this trigger point here at 43.22. We got that last week. I didn't catch that move because it put in such a big move into the trigger point, but we did get 3 days of pulling back and then a nice expansion in range right up into the ideal target on Friday at 46.29. There is a good size pocket here to work with on NEO as it works up towards this downtrend line. Breaking inside of this pocket, I think that's where it's going to want to go. Maybe some resistance in the middle around that $50 whole dollar. Also might want to consolidate a little bit, but just keep a watch on for a possible break inside of this pocket here for NEO, maybe after a little bit of consolidation. NVDA, I mentioned that we didn't want to be shorting this stock. As I said, it might just want to consolidate. That's exactly what it did. Nice bull flag, break higher, new 52-week highs here. I would expect this stock to continue running at this point, even though it is very extended. It is running on that bullish news of the stock split. It might want to make a run up to that 750 area and eventually up to 800, probably not next week, but just keep an eye on this stock for this bullishness to continue running higher. Tesla, this stock right now is not doing a whole lot of anything. It is just consolidating and continuing to hold the significant macro trend line that we've talked about, goes all the way back here to the March 2020 low. We are looking for a break below that. I still think this stock wants to come down to that 500 level. So any significant break of this macro trend line, we're going to be looking for 540 first. You have that pivot low coming in here, and then a break of that should bring you down to that 500 level. Otherwise, if we start to break back over this about the 628 area, probably want a magnet to the 50-day. It's been a while since we've tested the 50-day. So if we do get up there, we might see some squeeze up to the 50-day and then maybe back up to that 700 level. Just a couple more here. Taking a look at Zoom, the stock is starting to wake up. It broke the downtrend line. It is currently trading up into resistance here around that 366 level, I think that it may want to continue magneting up to that 200 MA. So it might want to fill this pocket here before we see a pullback, but just be aware we are currently trading into resistance before we do have that break up into the 200-day. Just a quick look at Bitcoin. It is starting to look like it might be forming a bear flag here. The 20 SMA was able to catch up to the price action. So if we continue to consolidate down here, obviously without getting a break over around that 42,000 level, definitely not going to be good for the coin. We could want to see a break lower. At that point, I'd be targeting somewhere down around the 20,000 level. So that's it for this week's watch list, guys. Short and sweet. Wish you guys the best of luck next week. Thanks as always for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.